So the tale goes something like this. About 5,000 years ago, in the northern part of India, a fortune teller, a shaman, he was called into a room to examine a child born to a rich feudal lord. It was said that this child would either grow up to be a conqueror who would unite various feudal kingdoms in the land, or he would become a prominent religious figure. The mystic looked down and examined the features of the child. Then he burst into tears, uncontrollable weeping, face buried in his hands, body shaking in despair. When asked what vision he foresaw for the child by the rightfully alarmed feudal lord, the fortune teller replied, "Your son will discover the truth that will set free all the creatures of the world who can understand it. But I will be deceased, long dead before he discovers this knowledge, doomed to spend eons in heaven." Now, I'm not saying this to offend my Christian, Muslim, or Jewish friends, nor am I saying this to bore my atheist friends. What I'm trying to point out is just how important the Dharma or the teaching of the Buddha is to those who follow it. I'm trying to show how coveted the idea of cessation or release or nirvana is to them. The temples that blanket the country of Thailand are often just as revered as the teachings of Buddhism are. One such temple here in Khon Kaen is this one, Wat Nong Wang Pra Aram Luang, or what is commonly referred to as Wat Nong Wang or Nong Wang Temple. All right, my comrade in arms. I know those of you who are visiting Khon Kaen or actually living here, and I might be able to safely assume anyone who has visited an Isan city such as this, even Thailand's fourth largest city, will have been to the big Mango or Bangkok down south. It's also safe to assume that you might have seen the grounds of some of the grander temples there, even if by the roadside. For example, Wat Prakao, Wat Arun, and Wat Po. And for those temples, you could easily spend half a day at some of those sites snapping photos or admiring the murals or the artwork. The temples in Khon Kaen can't compete on a one-on-one basis for the tourists' attention that way, but I see Wat Nong Wang as part of a 3-temple walkabout. All 3 temples are within 10 minutes walk from each other. Along the central lake in Khon Kaen, it's really a water reservoir, but it looks like a lake. And each of the temples has a different look and feel from the others, so it's not a monotonous day. Additionally, around the northern end of the lake, there is a night market, restaurants, and 2 museums that flank the northeast side. And actually, there are restaurants speckled throughout that area. Cafes as well. QR codes are provided here. Wat Klang, in my opinion, if you are in a hurry or if you're just not in the mood to see 3 temples in one morning, I would skip that one over the other 2. It's beautiful, it just doesn't have the same impact. But, when in Rome for me, go for the gusto. I want to see everything that I can. I normally make out a checklist of what to see. Yes, I avoid the tourist areas normally, but for Khon Kaen, because it's not really a tourist city, it's a business city. For Khon Kaen, going to the tourist areas doesn't actually destroy my soul because of the crowds. It gets a little crowded, but not nearly anything like you would see in Bangkok. When you walk through the opening doors of Wat Nong Wang, you'll see that the first floor is probably the most important floor. That's where all the action is. I've been here a few times now, and there's always a monk inside giving prayers to local worshipers. There are multiple statues for praying and well-wishing and making merit. I'm not sure if there is a meditation room, but this temple receives too many visitors at any given time to make meditating something that you can do as a task without a lot of distractions. In the back side of the first floor, that's the east side towards the lake. Yes, the front end is actually on Glangmung Road or Munglang Road, where the back side is towards the more scenic lake. Anyways, towards the back side of the first floor, you'll see stairs allowing you to ascend to the next floors. There are 9 floors, so get ready. The stairs are insanely narrow for you who have regular sized feet or large feet. So you start to realize real quick that the steps here are not designed for human beings. They are designed for the hooves of mountain goats. I'm a size 45, 46, or about an American size 12, 12 and a half. And that was quite a task because even as I was walking sideways, the stairs were still just barely wider than the width of my feet. Now, don't get me wrong, for those of you who have had to ascend, say, the Arc de Triomphe in Paris or St. Peter's in London, are going to find this a piece of cake. Each tier has artworks, relics, and differing themes. The collections obviously get smaller as the floor space gets tighter upon ascending to the top. My favorite floors were 2, 3, and 4. I especially enjoyed various statues of the Buddha, such as the wooden reclining Buddha statues. My number one statue of all time is this one specific Buddha statue. The pose that I like the most is the one where he's sitting cross-legged with one hand up and the other hand pointed as if he's touching the ground. It is said that when he finally achieved enlightenment and saw the world for what it was, saw reality directly, not through the filtered senses of a human, not through the lens of our own brain, but he saw reality for what it was. He touched the ground and said, "Many times have I built this house. O house builder, you are seen. Never again will you build this house." That, of course, means that he had achieved release from the cycle of birth and death, and he would never come back. I really enjoy that pose. I really like that pose, not because it's aesthetically more pleasing than the others, but because of what it means, because of how clearly it conveys that message. The hours of the temple are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And friends, let me tell you, you really want to come early while the weather is still cool. Because even with the temperatures hovering around 23 degrees Celsius, I was sweating a little bit as I descended. Yes, I said descended, because when I ascended, I was just in awe of everything that I was seeing. I didn't realize that I had worked up a sweat until I got to the top floor. Perhaps that says more about me than it does about the Isan winters, but mark my words, come early. The crowds started flooding in the place when I left around 9:30 a.m. Wat Nong Wang. I will admit that I avoided making videos of this place for a little while because I tend to avoid the most tourist-friendly places. I mean, I lived in Florida for years, and when you live in a tourist area, you kind of stay away from those places. But I'm really glad that I did visit. This does deserve to be one of the top attractions in the Khon Kaen area, and indeed in the Isan area. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, I love you because you are deserving of love. I appreciate you, especially if you've sat through my videos and have supported me. But I appreciate you anyways. And as always, I wish you all the best. Hopefully 2026 will see you in very happy places. See you next time. I find this to be absolutely incredible. This is a dragon that is constructed out of leaves. So yeah, I can see why this is probably the most famous and revered temple in Khon Kaen. Now, according to my dean at my last university, if you walk around the temple 7 times, you will have good luck. Okay, so the higher that you go up here, you've got to have the feet of mountain goats and the body of gazelles. So the wind died down just as soon as I started filming, but it was really nice to walk. All the floors have chimes everywhere, so you just hear the chimes going off in this structure, and I love the sound of chimes.
which you don't hear because the wind is not cooperating. Shoot.